Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Unveil Paranormal. I'm super excited for tonight's show, guys, and you can probably see that from my most recent post of how excited I am. I have two are good friends of mine that I go investigate with at least a couple times, I'd say a year, and they are like two of my favorite people to investigate with. They are freelance paranormal investigators, no team associated or anything like that. Hi, Anne, welcome. Hi, Jeremy, welcome. So just so everybody knows, we will do a Q&A tonight. So if you have any questions for them on their techniques, anything paranormal, feel free to put it in the comments section. I'm looking forward to it tonight. So everybody, without further ado, please welcome Tina and Dawn.
Hi.
Thank you so much again for joining me tonight on the show. I greatly appreciate it so much.
Thank you for having us. Yeah, we're privileged.
Yes, I'm really excited. Jeremy says hello. Jeremy's with Things. He also runs Things Network, in which you
Well, hi, Jeremy.
All right, so we are having a little bit of Wi-Fi issues tonight, everybody, so be patient with us just in case it cuts out, okay? Like I said, please put your questions for Dawn or Tina in the questions in the comment section below. So, ladies, first and foremost, tell us a little about both you guys and how you got into the paranormal field, what your history is.
Well, I've always been interested in the paranormal since I was a young child. And one year I just kind of drugged Tina along and said, let's go to Waverly Hills. And that was about 12 years ago. And so we grabbed another friend and off to Louisville, Kentucky we went. And we had some experiences at Waverly that not only scared and terrified us, but it also, we were hooked. We got to come back. We got to go more and everything. So that's kind of how we got started. And we try to go to different places every year and expand our experiences. We love to meet people along the way, hear their experiences. You know, we've all experienced personal things in our lives, in our homes and everything.
Awesome. Tina, how about you?
Yeah, so I'll just drill in a little bit on our first experience with our friend who does not investigate at all with us anymore because she was so scared. It was on the third floor, and we didn't know about the entity called Big Black at the time. But everyone in our group went down to go smoke a cigarette, go to the restroom. And my friend Christy and I, we hung out on the floor, and my little sixth sense said, okay, there's something spooky down there, so we're not going to go down there. And my friend got scared, so we go out on the balcony where it was open, and we just catch our composure. We go back in, and it was just there. And then you see like a flash of light, like people were coming. You could hear a noise, but nobody was there. And this is it was just really strange. And I caught my first EVP about that time, listening to the voice recorder. And it was actually a security guard, doing a night check, and he was humming. So I think the light we saw was actually a security guard. So that was my first experience at Waverly. So that was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. But I can drill into my childhood. We built a home in the woods, and I was about 10 years old, and I saw a figure walk past my bed, and it happened a few times. And that was the first I ever experienced anything paranormal, and wasn't quite sure. And it was until Dawn really took me investigating that we really got into it, and was intriguing. And now we have all kinds of gadgets, and we go a lot of different places. And now I live in a possibly haunted house, so we get all kinds of stories. And probably one of the cool things about Dawn and myself is some of the personal experiences we have when we come home. You try not to bring things home, but maybe we're just likable. Things occasionally might come home with us. Yeah. One of the weird things that we had was our smoke detector in our houses went off. I think it was on the same night
Oh yeah, they'd chirp 3 times and go off.
It just
Really?
Yeah, it was just so weird. Like you would never imagine what happened. And sure enough, it happened to her house too. So crazy. It's one of those weird things that you just can't explain, but it happened.
Yeah.
That was in my old house, not the house I live in now. But another weird thing was we were sitting in the living room watching TV show, and all of a sudden one of our hair ties was on the floor. It stood up on end and it rolled across the floor, like as if someone, like a child or someone, had it in their finger, and it just rolled right along the floor. It's like, did you see that? Like, you can't make that stuff up.
No.
And,
Oh
and
my
the same weekend that happened to Tina at her house, and she was about 50 minutes away. Here in my house, I had things fly across my kitchen.
Really?
Same weekend. Yeah, it was unreal that we had those stories to tell at the same time.
Yeah. Is it because were you guys investigated, or maybe it's just you two are like connected in some way? You know?
Yeah. Well, it was like in January, so we really hadn't gone anywhere since Thanksgiving. So it had been a couple months,
Yeah.
but yeah, we get experiences here and there.
Right.
Yeah, even if
Awesome.
we're gone somewhere.
So one thing with you two that I love is you guys tend to have equipment that I've not seen other teams have. Now, you guys are not a team. I call you guys freelance investigators. I don't know if that's the right term to use, but it's because you guys literally do this for fun. It's strictly for fun. You enjoy the education. You enjoy learning about the place. And stuff like that, and I don't see it. But one thing you guys do is you guys always have the coolest and newest equipment, it seems like. And so I really would love for you guys to share some of your equipment, which we did discuss. You do have some of it with you, just so that some people can see what else is out there other than a K2, you know?
Yeah. Well, one of our newest is a music box that, if I turn it on here, and it'll calibrate. Then if something passes through it, it'll play music. And we've had quite a bit of experiences with the music box in locations, as well as we had a wonderful session at Tina's home one morning with the music box. So,
Yeah.
Because it not only detects emotion, intelligent spirits can actually use it to answer yes and no questions. You say chime once for once for no, two for yes. And if you have someone like that, you can use it in different methods.
Yep. Of course, we have the full spectrum cameras with the infrared lights.
Which that used to be my first go-to. That is like one of my favorite things, and I've caught some really cool evidence with that.
Yep.
And again, when we have evidence, it's like ours. We just like keep it for ourselves. We don't do anything with it because we just do it for fun to see what happens, for the experience. And just, wow, that was really cool,
Yep.
Yeah.
We have a spirit box that scans through the frequency channels, basically the white noise, to pick up speaking communication. So we use that quite frequently.
That's the SB7.
Yes, it's the SB7.
Yeah.
So we have like 3 of those. So like she's got gear, I've got gear. So we have all kinds of gear.
Yep. And we have the Ovilus 5.
I don't see the Ovilus very much when I'm investigating with other teams.
So I have a different version of the Ovilus that I got from a different paranormal friend. And so we like to investigate with these together to see if we get similar words. And actually, it's very interesting. At times we do. So we kind of use that to test it to see, is there any specialness to it, I guess you say.
And we've got Broken Halo off the Ovilus just by turning it on.
Wait. What was the words?
Broken Halo.
Broken Halo. Ooh.
Yeah.
What could it mean?
Yeah. So we like the Ovilus. Of course, we have a millimeter, measures electromagnetic energy, gives us the temperature. We can see temperature swings. And this one actually has a REM pod built into it. So we can get REM action if something comes near the machine. So,
Awesome.
yep.
We still got more.
Oh, we got more.
You guys always have more.
and this is Zeus. If you touch him, he goes off. He lets you know. But I have the little Yorkie, and Tina has a beagle.
Like a beagle. Yep. And so most of our friends that have those have dogs, but we have a friend who has a cat. And so then it's like a competition. Do you like cats more or do you like dogs more? So,
yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
And lastly, one of our favorites is little cat toys that light up if they're moved. The spirits seem to love these and everything. We can set them out as individuals or leave them in a bag, and they'll light up the whole bag and everything. So we have a bunch of these.
So if you investigate and don't have a lot of money, that is an awesome way to go. Go to Amazon and buy those, and they can be your little best friend to find out there's something there.
Right.
Yep. And of course, everybody's favorite, the flashlight.
The flashlight. Yeah.
Gotta have flashlight sessions.
Yes.
An SLS camera.
Yes, and I have an SLS camera, but I did not get it out.
Yeah. Well, thank you for showing some of those, and I know you guys have plenty more.
Yep.
Beyond that. So we do have a question here from Anne. Anne was wondering, do you ever get experience before you go somewhere and it be there too?
I don't really have any kind of a connection like that. My issue is what happens when I'm there and what decides to come home with me or back to the hotel room. And I am wearing an Ashmore shirt here tonight. I had an experience at Ashmore. There's a room where it talks about twin girls. And we like to go to public investigations and check out a place first sometimes to see if we want to do a private later, because we really like to do private investigations. And there were a ton of people. And so we knew what we wanted to do. As soon as our break was over, we hit the road with our gear. We ran upstairs to this girl's the room, and we turned on the phone. I think I had my phone voice recorder, which does work, by the way. And I caught an EVP, and it says, "Are you mother?" Like she was talking to her sister, or maybe no, she said, "Is that mother?" And it really gave me chills. I thought, oh my gosh, here's a little girl. But I questioned if it was really a little girl, because we went to the hotel room and I had a feeling that there was someone in the room, and I had a horrible nightmare. So I think that something came with me to the room. So things like that do happen. I'm not one, I don't do anything when we finish other than say, you need to stay here. But obviously things do come along at times. I mean,
yeah, we've been told to get out numerous times where, we'll have a spirit box or something going and it'll just flat out say, get out.
Yeah.
And we know we need to leave and respect them and stuff. But to experience something before we go, I've never experienced it beforehand, always during or after. And stuff.
And I don't know how all of you are that investigate the paranormal, but maybe it's, I don't know, I don't say a sick personality, but something happened. Some people in life would be traumatized and scared to death, but we actually get all excited about it. Yeah. And we like smile and get all giddy. So, I mean, we get excited when things happen. And other people would be like, oh no, we're not going to be here.
Oh yeah. One year we were at Tala and somebody let a door slam behind them, and the whole group just took off running down the hall. And Tina and I were out front, and we had to turn around and yell at them, "Stop running and screaming." I mean, they were just terrified. It was just a door and everything. But yeah.
Oh, this is why I love you too.
It's
You
we
guys
love
don't get
Tala.
scared much, it seems like. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
No, not unless there's something really, really bad and my senses say, okay, we need to go somewhere else. I mean, that has happened. I mean, there have been a few dark places, and so we'll investigate, but we don't really push it. We don't provoke at all. We don't believe in provoking. I know some people do, but we get experiences and don't need to provoke. I think if you're respectful, I don't think you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't do any rituals or use any protection. Before we leave an investigation, we'll, say you can't come with us, you need to stay here and stuff like that. But to do something on a regular basis, we do not.
Yeah. Thanks for answering that one. So you talked about Tala, and I know in your guys' bio, both of you said Tala was your favorite location. Yep. So tell us a little bit about your experience at Tala, because I've never been. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, so I can tell you that if you've ever been to an investigation, I don't know if you've ever had an experience where it feels like the energy rises and it just feels like the whole area comes to life. I've been there a few times, and just a certain time hits, you happen to be there and you can just feel it, and things you start to hear noises, your devices will go off. It just seems like it's really, really super active. We've had that happen there multiple times. One time my daughter was around the corner because they have long halls, a walkway, like to get to another hall, and then another long hall. It's really, really big if you haven't been there. Yeah. And so I had a friend with me, and we were investigating, and it was late in the morning. I don't know, probably between 3 and 4 in the morning. And she could hear me and told me to be quiet. And I started chuckling because I could hear her. And so I was a smart ass. And so I whispered, "Can you knock on a door?" But I whispered it. And so instead of getting a knock on the door, I got a knock on the floor, and I got it right between my friend and I, right on the floor. Like 3 very loud noises, and you could feel the floor move. It was just like that. I'm like, it's unbelievable, the things that have happened. And she had an awesome experience.
Yeah. Shadow figures. I'm usually good to see shadow figures every time I go to Tala. One year, I think it was when we took Hannah for her 16th birthday, and she brought a friend, and my voice recorder froze on me, and I couldn't get it to unfreeze. The only way I could get it to unfreeze was take the batteries out. And when I took the batteries out and put them back in, it had erased my entire voice recorder.
Really?
Yeah, there was nothing left. And the last time we were there, we were down in the basement that they had just opened up, where they'd done like lobotomies and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And several of us saw the shadow figure move from one side to the other side of the room.
And with that experience, I wasn't in the group to see it, but the way that it was described to me was, if you ever think there's nothing darker than the dark, you're wrong, because they are darker than the dark.
Right. You could see them in the dark.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. And we actually had my niece, who was like 13 years old at the time, with us, and she saw it and stuff. So she was like, "Oh my God, this is real,"
We've heard, I've heard like the wrapping of your fingers, but they're like bone wrapping on like a windowsill, like right beside us. I've heard that. I've been groped there. I've had something like I felt like they put their arm on my shoulder, like they're resting on my shoulder. There were experiences in a little girl's room where you literally could feel the energy, and like a balloon was like moving, and like you could just feel like she was in there just playing. And
we actually, one year after we had been there the prior year, and we asked, "Do you remember us?" And it actually came across the spirit box as Tina and Dawn. Our names came across the spirit box. So they remembered us.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
I have a visitor in the room. I don't know if she wants to pop her head over. You want to say hello? It's Tina and Dawn.
Hi, Aurora.
Hi.
She's eavesdropping and heard us talk about shadow people, so she's like, I want to tell them about the shadow person in my closet.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Closet. But you can say hello.
I want you to tell them.
Well, let's see you.
Well, she'll say hello to you. Just say
Hi.
Hi.
hello. Okay, get out of here.
Come on.
She's being camera shy
Why can't you tell them?
because this show's about Dawn and Tina and their experience.
You're telling them about your experiences too.
All right. So yeah, Aurora just wanted to drop in and say hello and tell her story that she's seen a shadow person in my closet.
Investigation at your house, Clarissa.
Right.
It's I keep saying I should have one here, and it just hasn't happened yet because I don't want to be the person investigating. I want to see what other people get.
Yeah.
So, what do you have planned for this year? Where are you going this year?
Whispers Estates.
Okay.
There. Actually, that place came up for sale. I don't know, it was maybe year and a half, 2 years
2020.
ago. Yeah. And as soon as I saw it, like, oh my gosh, I want to buy that. But it sold really fast. But
Yeah.
that is my house, but it sold. But we've been there before.
Yep.
Had experiences, so it'll be interesting to go back. And we're doing the ship USS
Edson.
Okay.
We're going to do Whaley House in Flint, Michigan.
which is a museum.
Yeah.
We kind of don't really have a ton
Yeah.
planned.
We are going to do the Michigan Paracon for the first time
Okay.
end of August. So we're going to go check out that experience.
Awesome.
We
And
kinda
I know
just roll
as
with
time,
it.
yeah, as time goes, you guys tend to schedule stuff in. So
Yeah. So I'm looking at my calendar. I realize all of a sudden we didn't really have much planned. Next thing I know, I've got 3 weekends in a row. We have investigations.
Yeah.
Like, well, I guess we're going to be busy.
Yeah.
And that's kind
Yeah.
of what happens. It kind of
Yeah.
fills up as we go.
yeah.
And we just checked out Bell Mansion in Fort Wayne
Well, we're
in
going.
January.
We're going to the Rhodes Hotel.
Yeah, and we're
been
going to
there.
the
Yes,
Rhodes.
you are.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are.
I'm
Yeah, we got
excited.
that coming too. And
That's going to be fun. I can't wait.
yeah. I did too.
John, to answer your question, I do not believe they have a YouTube channel.
Do you think we should have one? I don't know.
Thinking about it, but we've never done it. So
I will
Spirit
also. I will
Spirit
also
really
say-
likes you guys, so
We've had, some people don't like to do personal residences, but I will tell you, we've had some really good luck
Oh,
at
yeah.
personal residences, and I've got some really good footage and evidence. And one place we went to, it was just unbelievable. I don't know if it's some people, I think, have this happen and they just maybe are afraid to tell their family or friends that they have something paranormal going. So I always love it when someone opens up and actually lets us
Yeah.
into their home. And it kind of, I guess, reiterates maybe what they're thinking they might have. But when we get the evidence to prove it, it goes right along with it. So some people say they don't believe a house is maybe or as haunted as you think, but we've had really good luck doing
Yeah.
personal residences.
okay.
Yeah. People will reach out of the blue and say, "Hey, I know you guys do this. Would you come check out this house? We
Yeah.
think there's something here."
Yeah. And we've had people offer to pay us and like, we don't want the money.
Yeah.
Or we don't do it for the money. That's not what we do. But we
Right.
will come to your house and we will check it out if you want.
Yeah, that's awesome. And speaking of the roads, I am hosting an event in April, guys. I did want to let everybody know watching the show, I am planning another event at another location. I know when it is. I know where we're going, but I haven't posted it yet. So stay tuned for that and pay attention on the page, okay? Especially if you want to investigate with me and whoever else I bring along.
Okay.
So I just wanted to throw that out there while I was thinking about it. But one thing is, Tina, that you said was talking about buying Whisper Estates. But it's good that you didn't, because you actually purchase that's pretty haunted?
Yeah, so I actually lucked out and purchased a home that I always admired as a child, and I've probably driven past this house, I'm going to say literally probably 1,000 times. I drive by it all the time and think, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I wonder what it looks like on the inside. And I always heard little ghost stories along the way. But until I actually moved in, was I able to confirm that there is something there, more than one, multiple.
Yeah.
Could be quite a few depending on the time. It used to be a cement factory. They pulled the marl from the lake and actually made what you use for concrete. And my house is actually what was the laboratory. So they actually use it as a part of the business. And then also as a living quarters and entertaining area was actually on the top floor. So a lot of I mean, gosh, we've had something happen on
All floors.
All 4 floors. We even had in the garage, we had stick figures sitting on a chair watching us in the garage. So, I mean.
Well, you have the experience with the saw turning on in the garage.
Yeah. So I sometimes think bad things might have happened there. I have no idea. But when we got to the house, I mean, there was stuff that maybe looked like I know they had squatters here and there, but I feel like maybe they did some like illegal activity like drugs. I saw like a jump rope around a chair, thinking maybe somebody was tied up, kind of like cowboys and Indians. But when you go into the garage, there was actually a makeshift, like a table saw hooked up to kind of like a jump rope, and you could pull on the cord and the saw would go off. And so when we were trying to take the saw off, it literally somehow turned on and cut my sweatshirt, and I about panicked because the saw literally, it turned on. So I have no idea. It could have been us doing something, but that was weird. Another weird thing was that could have been ironic, but when I first was looking at the house where I had to do some things to buy it, I heard the noise and I looked up in the tree, and a tree limb that was right above me snapped and dropped, and I just moved out of the way and it hit the ground. It's like, okay. So is this like a warning shot? I don't know what's going on, but guess what? I still bought the house.
Oh my God.
So, yeah. So lots of noises. You try to sleep. If it's quiet, you hear a lot of racket. I've heard a woman's voice. We've got a really tall figure that we saw on the SLS camera. Like literally he had his arm on the top of a window.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all kinds of things. So I'm debating what to do with it. I don't know if I'm going to open it up or, just keep it like I have it and just have my friends. I'm not sure. I guess possibilities are endless at this point. I'm not sure what I want to do, but I love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it ever gets to be open to the public, it's definitely one of the first places that, even though I've already, we're friends, so I can investigate it, but I totally recommend it.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Are you just going to come in here and say hi again? Usually it's my animals that are kind of walking in and out of it. She just wants to be nosy.
I'm in here because you guys talking about that while I'm in and out of the room scares me, so I decided to come in here.
Okay, sweetheart.
It's dark.
So you guys have been in the field for a while, and you guys kind of just do your own thing, which I think is great. But what kind of pet peeves do you guys have about this field?
The lack of respect when you're in a facility with other people where they're talking really loud or, they're making a lot of noise, stomping their feet, just interfering with somebody else's investigation.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard, especially on a public investigation. It's hard to actually, you have to know going in that people aren't really going to respect each other, right? We all want to do the same thing and check things out. So you just kind of have to know that that's what you're getting in for. That's why we also prefer to do the private, so we can set up the way we want, control the environment, invite who we want, and I guess have a less stressful time. Because it can be frustrating when you have your gear. And the other thing is, you have a private investigation. We have all of our gear. We can set it out and leave it out. And if we do a public, you got to set it out, take it back, set it out, take it back.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's probably is just a respect thing.
Yeah.
And like I said, we don't provoke. So I don't care to be around investigators that technically are going to sit there and provoke either, because I don't think you need to do that. So we tend to be around people that we feel comfortable with, and we all respect each other, and that's the way we like to go.
Yeah.
If you do see light over here, it's not a ghost. It's lights from the other room. So do you guys have a favorite piece of equipment that you guys use?
Well, it used to be the full spectrum camera, but gosh, anymore. We have an Ovilus in our hand, and our dogs are probably one of our new favorite things, because they go everywhere with us. So we have like new sidekicks now, I suppose.
Yeah.
Box, Tina has a cryptocord,
so which is similar but different maker. So it's kind of hard to just pick one, because we have a whole gear bag that goes with us. So
yeah. Yeah, I noticed with you two, you guys are both scientific and senses too. So you guys kind of have a nice little medium there.
Yeah.
On how you investigate.
Yeah. We've kind of been working with each other for 12 years, so we kind of know each other's style and stuff like that. We've developed, this is our method. We're comfortable doing this.
Yeah.
We try not to step outside our comfort zone.
Yeah. So, tell us experiences you've had.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Experiences we've had.
Yeah, what's the scariest experience you've ever had in the field?
Well, mine, I said, was at Waverly. That was mine, because that was my first real experience, and my friend was scared, and I knew something was going on, but didn't know really what the hell was going on. But
right,
it was my scariest. Now, for me,
yeah. For me, the first time we ever went to Randolph County Infirmary in Winchester, Indiana.
Okay.
There was 6 of us that went, and it was Thanksgiving. And even though it wasn't really that cold in the building, we were all freezing. But when we went to lay down for the night, we were in a small room with 2 space heaters going, sleeping bags, layers of clothes. And I happened to be by the door, and you could hear pacing outside the door, and then the scratching on the door.
Like it knew she was laying on right by the door.
Right, because I was literally right inside the door on the floor.
Yeah.
And everything like that. And Tina's daughter, Sydney, was with us, and she insisted that all the doors be locked. And we're like, why? And then that happened and everything. And this was supposed to be the safe room.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is about the cold, we were all so cold even going home the next day. We struggled to get warm, even though the building was like 45 degrees. So it wasn't even totally freezing or anything like that, but it took us forever to warm up. It's like they were draining our energy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So we have learned, you never say you can use my energy, because let me tell you, that experience taught us a lesson.
Yes.
See, and I do that. I tell them they can use my energy.
But we learned not to really say that.
Yeah, but it wasn't just one of us. It was all of us. It was all 6 of us that were there on that investigation.
Yeah.
It was a crazy experience.
Yeah.
I will tell you, Randolph, if you have not been there,
I have not.
Yes, Clarissa, you need to go. Crazy experience. 5:30 at night. We did our tour, whatever. We've done them, but we all went upstairs to the attic. They had a circle on the floor with a toy in the middle. Sydney, my daughter, had it was like a temperature gauge. She was kind of walking around checking the area. All of a sudden, something happens. Something runs past her. She drops my gauge, breaks it, which is no big deal. It was cheap. But we all saw the toy in the circle move with nobody there, no cameras rolling. And I'm a firm believer that sometimes you have more luck if you don't run a camera, because we all saw it. It was an experience we all had, and I don't know if we would have seen that if we had a camera rolling.
Yeah, we've noticed that if we have a normal conversation, if we like ignore where we are and the surroundings, we will get more activity
Yeah.
just by ignoring them.
Well, and we actually talked about this at my last show about considering spy cameras and considering things that are more hidden. So when we go into a place to see if we can capture stuff that we wouldn't like, just make it appear like we're not investigating, but we are. So I don't know.
It's a good thought to try for sure, because I would say off of some of my best experience that we've had is when we're just rolling with it, and there's nothing other than what we have, just to try to get our other devices to work and just to have some form of communication. Yeah.
So what is it that you guys think brings people into this field, into the paranormal? Do you think it's just curiosity, or what do you think it is?
For sure. I mean, I think that's part of the reason we do it. I mean, if you think there's only a heaven and a hell, I think you're crazy myself, because I do believe there's an in-between. And then the question is of, obviously you've got your residual that's going to happen if you're there or not. Then you got your intelligent beings. You have people that don't want to pass on because they probably know where they're going, right? So I do believe in that. And I think that people are intrigued because, I mean, you get evidence. I mean, you have proof. And so part of what we like, even though we don't do anything with it, is just to say if someone really doesn't believe, you know, we've got proof that we do.
Yeah.
I mean, that things happen. So.
Yeah, I'd say people just get really curious, or they're suffering from like their own, you know, belief system, or they're sick, or, you know, I've seen multiple reasons why people have joined the field or got curious to learn about this stuff. So,
right. I think it's sad that places are charging so much. Some of these places, you're really going to have to pull the para community together to even investigate some places, because it's getting so freakishly expensive. I mean, we'll just use like the Bell Mansion. I mean, that to do a private investigation on a regular, they're just starting out, but I mean,
a Friday Saturday is $800, which for a small group is quite expensive,
right?
You know,
so a public investigation would be for that, which they're doing. I think only like 15 people on a public, so it's really not that bad if you can get in for that. But it's just an example. It's a new place. That's their cost, and they know that that's what you're going to pay to get in. So, I mean, it's their right to charge that, but we as investigators are going to have to go together. We, like Dawn and I, can't just book the Bell Mansion for the two of us. Now, if we go to the Monroe House or somewhere else, well, we could do that because it's more reasonable, right? So it really just depends, I guess, on what they're looking for people. Dawn and I mean, there are a lot of places we just go just the two of us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, and one thing is when, and I get a lot of crap for being kind of very opinionated about venues. And the thing is, though, when you investigate, we know what something should be priced at by the size of the building, by how popular the building is. You know, we can gauge when we see these venues are pricing their price if it's way too high, or it's or it's a really good deal. Like, so that's kind of how we pick and choose where we investigate and how we investigate, whether it be public or private, right?
Right. So one of the things that I do agree with, and I think that places should do more, is limit your people. And if you have more people, then you pay X amount, so that you can have a smaller group who can afford it. And if they want to make more, try to make money, we'll just use that as an example, because that's a whole nother story in itself, right? Yeah. That the venue charges X amount per person. So the money's not necessarily going to the person trying to make money. It's going to the venue.
Right.
So like if I opened up my doors, I wouldn't want like Ghost Hunts USA to bring in like 30 people and only charge me X amount, and then they're making money on that. I mean, that's not a good business sense for myself.
Right. You guys have a fan? His comment to pull up. There it is.
Hi, Will.
He did join us tonight. They were actually asking about you, Will, where you were. So
yeah, we thought you'd be right there with Clarissa tonight, Will.
Nope, not tonight.
Yeah. But I have a question for your guests.
Yeah.
What places do you recommend? Where have you been that you would say you absolutely have to go to this place?
For the viewers?
For the viewers. We're always up for new ideas on where to go.
Yeah, so guys, if you have recommendations, throw some venue names out there. Let us know. And sometimes we do get recommendations. We'll start talking about one place, and then it'll trigger somebody. Like we had somebody on here from Maine, like something in the East Coast or something. Like, oh, you need to come to this place and this place, you know. So
yeah, so we just went to Myrtle Beach not too long ago, and so I was like on my phone while we were down there, just trying to find haunted places. I looked before we kind of looked there, and I'm sure there are places, but we found like a couple supposed like haunted locations, but not really a place that you can investigate. But yeah, I mean, it's always good to know where you're going. If there's something around that you can like book ahead of time to get into. So
awesome. I know along the East coastline there, I know I'd like to go to St. Augustine sometime. That's one place I'd like to go.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's supposed to be an old city, so.
Yeah, lots of history.
Yep.
Yeah, but we've done some cool stuff. You know, we've been to like the Myrtles Plantation.
Yeah.
I've been to Lump Mansion a couple times. She hasn't yet, but hopefully she will someday. I mean, that was a cool experience. I mean,
we've both been to the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado. Not at the same time, but we've both been out there.
Yeah, so we try to do some things outside of our
little area.
Yeah, our area.
You know, we drive 6.5, 7 hours to go investigate.
I will say that one place as a group that we should all pool our money and go to is Pennhurst. I really would love to go to Pennhurst.
Pennhurst.
I think that would be an experience that we'd all get have experience. So I think that would be a great place to see.
I'd be up.
Yeah, we went with another group 2 years ago to West Virginia, to Moundsville, to the penitentiary.
Okay.
It's a fun investigation as well. Would like to go back there.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Hi, Earl. Say hi. Yeah, we'll have to check that place out. We heard you guys talking about that.
Yep, I'm writing these down.
Old Baraboo Inn.
Yep.
I've not heard of that one. That's new.
Did you say that's in Wisconsin? Is that in Wisconsin, Earl?
Do you guys know who Earl is?
We do. I met him and his fiance at the time that it was his fiance at an investigation. So,
yes.
Okay. Yeah, he says it is.
Sedumsville Rectory, Loveland Castle. That's over in Ohio.
The problem with Loveland Castle, I wonder, they don't have restrooms. You have to use the porta potties.
Oh, really?
So, is it? I guess my question is: Is it worth not having a flushing toilet?
Sometimes.
I can tell you about an experience where we went that they didn't tell us there was no running water, and to use the restroom, you had to go to a gas station a few blocks away,
or you could go in the backyard.
Or
Carissa, you've been there,
yeah. Or you can go out in the backyard with a bag and some toilet paper or something. But yeah.
I appreciate a good running toilet at a haunted location.
Yep.
For sure. And I do want to say a big shout out. Thanks, Eric, for joining in tonight. He's a new friend of mine, so just want to give him a big shout out for checking out the show.
Yeah, for sure.
Hold on a second. You guys hear that scratching? That's my dog. Aurora, you open that door? Sorry, he's going to keep scratching at the door, and then it's going to be like,
Oh, mine are getting treats to keep them entertained while we're talking to you guys.
We have done a few haunted houses, like literally like haunted houses that people go through. They have props and things.
Yeah.
We did one in Ohio a couple times. You go to some of these places, and I tell you, you literally could freak yourself out if you think about what you're in and your surroundings, because you think Dawn and I are the only two in this haunted building. I think, oh my God, somebody could literally come in here and kill us, and nobody's going to know.
Right.
Like, we're by ourselves. I mean, it could be really scary if you really think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was by a river, so anybody could have come up the river or walked along the edge and stuff like that enjoying the property.
There's a dead looking body on a table, and it literally looks real.
Yeah.
And you touch it to make sure that it really is not real. Like,
Yeah.
some crazy stuff. We're looking for paranormal, but
yeah,
we were really.
Yeah. When you're walking through in the dark and you see this figure and it looks real.
Yeah.
With blood and everything, it tends to freak you out from time to time.
Full body clown.
Yeah.
People that don't like clowns, you think you'd have a really hard time, stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, I ghostly ones.
Yeah. My dogs have eaten half a bag of treats to keep them entertained.
Yeah, mine's pacing. What are you doing?
Yeah, mine just stand here and whine. Look at me and whine.
Yeah, our dogs are babies.
Yep.
So, one question I have is, hold on, Aurora, let him out of that room, please. Sorry about that. So, one question I have is, what kind of advice would you two give to anybody who wants to just get started in this field?
Well, I say that it's good to go with somebody who, I say go with someone who you might know that does this, so that they can show you what they do to get a good idea of how an investigation works. Because you really don't need all the gear that we've got. Like I said, I mean, I think it helps because it gives you something to put out there to see if it actually works. But I think it's good to have a good little ghost buddy.
Right. I mean, we literally started with a regular camera and a voice recorder.
Mm-hmm.
We had nothing else for years. And then, just one piece at a time, we started gathering gear and everything and trying new things. But for years, we didn't have much. It didn't stop us from going or anything.
Right.
I think what we have enhances our experience.
That's right.
Because the bells and the whistles are more entertaining, and I feel like a sixth sense. Like I can feel things, but I can't really communicate without a way to. I mean, what are the odds? How many times we say, "Can you knock on a door? Can you make a sound?" I mean, we still do it to this day, trying to see if we get communication.
Right.
Every now and then it actually works, but the odds are unlikely, right? So we kind of use our gear as a way to communicate. So that's just my advice, is to go with somebody who has done it before.
I mean, we were at an old jail once, and I had my SLS camera, and we were in the drunk tank and everything, and there was a toilet in there, and my SLS literally caught a figure on the toilet and stuff. So sometimes in the least unexpected places, you capture things.
Yeah.
And stuff that we just found it humorous that there's a figure on the toilet and stuff.
Yeah.
So sometimes the gear pays off, and other times, it's silent or you get nothing. But it's definitely an enhancement.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I see Will says he's got a boo buddy. We don't have a boo buddy, but I love the little boo buddy. I think he's a cool little guy, and I agree that would be a great one to go with.
Yeah, his little boo buddy's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
To take on. It's just a cool little guy,
Yeah, and that's a fun thing too when we go with some other of our paranormal friends, is because they have different equipment, and it is always neat to see what they have.
Right.
So to see their devices work. So for sure.
Yeah. And then we're like, ooh, let's add that to our wish list. Ooh, that goes for
Yeah.
you know.
That's how I feel every time I investigate with you two. I'm like, I want one of those every time.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's taken us 12 years to accumulate what we have and stuff. So it's, 1 year Tina will buy something, and the next year I'll buy
Yeah.
something, and so we have different things.
Right.
Depending on where we go, depends on how
Yeah.
much we pack our bags. So sometimes we pack light because maybe it's a public investigation. We're just going to take a few things.
Right.
And other times, like literally, like the other night when we all went to the Bell Mansion, and so we drove separate. I had like my whole back seat, stuff in my trunk, and I'm like, one night. Like, how much does one person need for one night? It's like, well, I mean, I grabbed it all. You got the stool, I got my bag with my big dog. I got my backpack with my gear.
Oh yeah, tripods,
sleeping things. Yeah,
tripods.
So, I mean, it's crazy. So you see the pictures of these investigators with the car packed. I mean, we can't pack a lot of people in our car when we go because we don't have a lot of room.
Yeah. And if we have to take bedding, you can forget it. Nope. we're pretty limited to about two of us. If we have to take
better roads, you have to bring it. So.
Yeah, and we do. We have cots, so we're prepared for whatever's happening. But I do prefer a flushing toilet. That is my one thing. Yes. I can rough it, but I really would like some running water.
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like my first question is there a toilet? My second question is there heat?
Sure. The older we get, definitely heat, for sure. Or in the summer, you don't want to go when it's too super hot and then you're miserable. So like you want to be comfortable, you don't want to be sweating balls out there because it's so hot. You can't focus because you're just so miserable. So
sweat's running in your eyes. And,
Right. Yeah.
You have to be strategic on when you plan things based on the weather and what amenities they have to go with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I was going to say one thing that we haven't done a lot of is outdoor. We've taken the SLS like out my backyard, and believe it or not, we saw something, which we're not surprised. But we've done a few cemeteries, but overall, I think the majority of our stuff is indoors. So, I guess out there, what do other people do? You guys like to go to cemeteries? Do you have luck at cemeteries? Because I mean,
I would love to go to Gettysburg to the battleground and take my SLS.
Sure, that'd be really cool.
And walk around at night or even during the day. But I mean,
whatever, so we wouldn't get in trouble, right?
Yeah, we don't want to get in trouble,
And we are not ones to break into buildings and check them out either. Like, we don't want to go to jail for this.
Yeah.
Oh, Will did mention, Will's talking about this outdoor Indian place. I think I know what he talks about. And I do think this is a place you guys do need to check out. It's not, so it was a battleground and you can go out there and investigate. So it was an Indian, battleground is what it was. So several people on my page know what it's called. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but I know what he's talking about. So that might be a place, not a graveyard, but it's land you can investigate.
Sure. Well, Chris, I know you're really into the whole Indian thing, and so that's probably a good place for you to check out for sure. So.
I've been there. I enjoy 1812.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he said in Wabash, not Warsaw.
We'll have to check that out.
Yeah, so definitely would check that out. But we are almost out of time. So any last advice or anything you want to give to the viewers here?
Well, I'm happy to be on here. I mean, we love the paranormal. We seem to keep doing more and more. Like, there's always something in our agenda that we are working on. Probably a goal of ours is to go overseas, like you love to do, like Ireland, something like that. So we have paranormal goals, I guess, to go
overseas.
Right.
Yep.
Yes. That'd be awesome. That would be awesome to get to do that. And then Seven Pillars is also another outdoor place. Just if you're interested in that place, you have to talk to Will though. You know, owners. Gosh, he's
Thanks, Will. Feel the love.
Yeah.
Your super fan tonight. All right. Well, thank you so much again, both of you, Tina and Dawn, for joining me. I was so happy when you guys agreed to come on here and share your stories. You guys have wonderful stories, so much experience, and I just adore you two. And I'm looking forward to our next investigation together. It's going to be awesome.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I do greatly appreciate it. I don't have any links to reach out to Tina or Dawn, but if you ever have anything, if you want to get a hold of them, just let me know, okay? Unless they want you to come find them online. So, but again, thank you so much. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I hope everybody has a great rest of your night. Good night.
Bye.
Good night. Bye.
Thank you.